For once, I can actually say that I've had self-control, and these are not my chicks. Yay! Ben Turn borrowed my incubator and used it here at our house and brought some eggs from his flock, and as well as used some of our eggs, and he hatched out 20 to 30. I don't know exactly how many are in here, but it's quite a few baby chicks. That incubator is what got me in way too deep with chicken math. Years ago, we used to have so many chicks, and whenever Ben Turn started pulling these out and I saw them, I was like, oh goodness. I was like, we can put in these eggs and we can do this. Jeremiah was like, slow down. So I was trying to convince Ben Turn to start hatching chicks out to sell, and then I could get my fix and not be responsible for them. Y'all see the mayflies on the windows? Oh, there's Sweet Maya.
You look at the mayflies?
Yeah. So our kids are really, really funny about mayflies. Our friend Dan came over and was working. He put the brick on the front of our house. We hired him. And at the time, I guess his son was here helping him. And his son taught Benjamin what mayflies were.
Because while they were here working, Benjamin was here laying brick as well.
Yeah, he was, of course, he had to help.
That, like,
he actually spent like 7 hours out here working with Dan.
And Dan gave him an actual job. Like, he was like putting the mortar on the bricks.
Yeah,
so
that kid loves the job. But the mayflies, they've become a thing now, and the kids will catch these mayflies and build homes for them, name them, try to bring them in the house. In the morning. Oh gosh, and it's funny because I've never seen so many, and they've just been like all over the windows and stuff here. It feels like a beautiful, almost fall day. Yo, look at these sunflowers. Look at how lovely. And so many of these are about to open. Hey, check this out. Do you see this purslane? This volunteered here. This grows wild all over. Purslane's edible. It's also really beautiful. And I usually tear it out of the garden beds when it volunteers because it's a weed here. I mean, it just grows all over, but I left that one because it's so pretty. Yes, this sunflower zinnia bed is completely majestic. These are a variety of different sunflowers that were sent to me by a viewer from Johnny Seeds. And we put them all in this front bed just for this reason, so we'd have some nice color in fall. And then this is a cactus zinnia mix from Hostels. Also just really beautiful. So pleased with that. Oh, as you can see, we've really started pulling out a lot of the stuff that was out here. I still have some sick tomatoes here that had fruit on them, so we left them for a little while longer. But the big tomatoes are all gone. So fall, like actual fall, starts here in a week and a half or two. It's really feeling like it. Our mornings have been cool. You can just feel that break in the weather, and the days are getting shorter. So going into fall, of course, I've got brassicas started in the basement. I've got brassicas which I've purchased, cool weather crops that I've purchased, some starts of that are back in the high tunnel. Actually ended up picking up a couple more trays of Brussels sprouts to put up here in the front garden because I'm going to try experimenting growing some things up here uncovered. All of that stuff are your typical fall garden crops, root vegetables, all those things, because they can freeze and not die. Another thing though that can be planted in the fall for the following year is garlic. And I'm here in the south in zone 7B, and here I typically will plant my garlic in like October to November and then harvest it like the following June. This year I'm going to experiment a little bit, and I'm going to plant some earlier than that and some a little later than that, and see if that is effective in bringing in like a staggered crop so it's not all coming in at the same time. Which leads me to something I wanted to share with you guys. I have a local friend. She's actually the sister of my sister-in-law, And she and her husband do homesteading here. They live really near to us. They have built up a store of seed garlic, and they've been growing for years now, building up to be able to sell seed garlic. And that's actually where I got these 2 packages of seed garlic. I've got a silver white, silver skin, and Italian soft neck. These are 2 of the ones that I'm gonna be planting this fall. And when she told me that they had this, we were like, we would absolutely love to share that with our viewers. It is gonna be like a limited stock. They're not like a big business. It's just a family that's doing this as a side business, but they do have some. They had a pretty good bit available, and I'm gonna put a link down below where you guys can purchase that. I've been asked a lot lately where to get garlic, and I don't know exactly what stock is going to look like in all of the seed places and the places where I normally source things. It's a little different this year, and so whenever I'm finding out about stuff like this, I definitely want to let you guys know so that you can benefit from that. So the link to my friend's seed garlic store is down below, and you guys can check that out. I don't know how long it'll last, and when it's sold out, I'll see if I can find another source to point you guys to. All right, I'm very excited to take you guys back here and show you what is currently going on in the high tunnel. Ben Turn and I are about to do some harvesting back here, and it's changed quite a lot since the last time you saw it.
In that bucket.
Oh yeah? Check this out. It feels so different in here.
Yeah, it's way more open.
It feels massive. These are cayenne peppers, and they're actually going to be dehydrated to make cayenne chili powder.
Things don't come off super easy.
No, a lot of them you kind of have to clip off. So I was out here yesterday eating bell peppers like by the dozen. And I bit a bell pepper that was growing back there, and I don't know what it cross-pollinated with, but it was so hot. I don't know where the seeds came from that I planted back here. It's just a bell pepper, and wherever the seeds came from, I don't remember, but they were definitely crossed with something, because I took this bell pepper over here, and I mean bit into it the way you recklessly bite into a bell pepper because you're not trying to protect yourself. And my whole mouth was burning for 2 hours. It was so stinking hot. It's planted over there. And then I was nervous because I had picked all these bell peppers I was going to take to my chiropractor's office today. And I was like, what if one of these is like a burning hot weapon in disguise? So I got these beds entirely planted, and I harvested like a whole flat of peppers yesterday. A lot of you have asked me if garden tours are just over or what the deal is with that. And they're not over. Actually, usually what I do around this time when I'm really transitioning things is just take a couple of weeks off and get things kind of transitioned and replanted where there's, like, to me, something to show. I know all of you are like, there's plenty to show, but I'm getting close to it. Probably won't be this weekend, but next weekend we'll be back on garden tours and doing the fall garden. And the thing is that we'll have this to tour all winter, because I'm going to keep this entirely planted, as well as planting some things out in the front garden that are going to be a little more experimental. These I know will do fine. Front garden's a gamble, because if you don't cover stuff, it may be fine because we can have such mild winters, or we may get a really cold snap and just kill everything, which would be sad. I'm gonna grab one of these buckets. These over here are the biggest jalapenos I've ever grown. These are the Craig's Grande. They're massive. I hate with pepper plants how sometimes you're picking and you go to pick one and you just pull an entire branch off the plant. Guys, look at these jalapenos. They're massive. You go, Craig. They really are grande. It's pretty good, huh? I've already harvested like pounds of jalapenos off these plants. It's about 6 plants right here. Oh, that one's got a boo-boo on it. Check out that. That's pretty good. I'm gonna go grab these other jalapenos and just mix them. So over here, this is just a basic jalapeno. I don't remember what kind this was, but it wasn't the Craig's Grande. This is not one I started from seed. It's one that I just bought. And look how much smaller these are. Significantly so. So jalapenos start green, turn red When you let them turn red and then you smoke them, they're chipotle peppers. That's how you get chipotle seasoning. So does it make me an okay boss whenever you're like, what is this? I'm like, I don't know, just bite it. It might not be that hot. It was a risk you were willing to take.
It was worth it.
You were rewarded with a tasty sweet banana pepper. I'm glad it didn't. Man, that bell pepper lit me up yesterday. I'm still not over it, actually. I know I keep mentioning it. So a little tidbit of information. I get asked a lot, aren't you concerned planting your hot peppers next to your sweet peppers that they're gonna cross-pollinate? So the way cross-pollination works in the case of fruit, like peppers, is that this year I can plant a hot pepper next to a sweet pepper, and the hot pepper will grow hot pepper fruit and the sweet pepper will grow sweet pepper fruit. However, if I save the seeds out of the sweet pepper fruit, it is likely to have cross-pollinated with the hot pepper that was right next to it. Maybe not. Sometimes they'll pollinate from themselves and they'll be fine. But if it did cross-pollinate, hot genes override sweet genes in peppers. So if it did cross-pollinate, the seeds inside that sweet pepper, if I take those seeds out and I grow them next year, I will get a hot pepper. And that's what happened with that bell pepper. That didn't get hot because it actually isn't grown next to hot peppers. It's over on the other side of the high tunnel, and that whole section is where I have my habanadas, my nadapinos. There are no hot peppers in that section because I wanted to have an area my kids could go eat from. And the bell pepper that's growing in there was from seeds that were saved, which cross-pollinated last year. And that's why I have a bell pepper that I'll be having nightmares about like forever. I'm being dramatic. I'll get over it. I actually want to go bite another one just because now I'm curious. So I put these random basils. Here's one. There's one down on the end. I put some herbs out here that were frost hardy. Some sage and oregano. They'll be able to handle the temperatures that it's gonna get in here. It won't get like super cold because when we take the shade cloth off and cover this up, it'll maintain a lot of heat. It'll be able to gather a lot of heat from the sun. It has this black fabric along the floor that'll draw in a lot of heat. And we've talked about ways to add heat out. I got the hiccups from eating a hot pepper. We've talked about ways to add heat out here. We've talked about doing like a little wood burning stove and different stuff like that. I just don't think that it's going to be necessary. Instead of planting very much that needs heat, I am just trying to plant things that can withstand frost, because simply by having the high tunnel itself that's going to protect these from the elements, from wind or ice, that should be enough with how mild our winters are, that they should live just fine. Now, if we have like a crazy cold winter and I think that the brassicas are in danger, we could also just take frost fabric and put it over this inside the high tunnel, and that would work too. So throwing in things like basil, that's mostly just because it'll give me basil until the frost and maybe a little while after, but I'm not gonna work really hard to try to keep that stuff alive. I think some of these peppers need to become cream cheese poppers. Yum. Over here I have my habanadas, no, not jalapenos and habanadas, but these are not hot, so I've got to pick them and keep them separate where I can mark them, so I'm not going to pick them right now. I don't want to mix the two up, but I have quite a few of them and they've been really prolific. They knocked this plant over. It's covered in fruit. Oh, I have one more thing to tell you guys, but I forgot. I'm gonna go do that and I'll come back to this. Dang, you are so much faster than me.
I'm not carrying a camera around.
I guess that's it. See, these are poblanos, which these are kind of small, but I was going to try smoking and dehydrating these and making a chili powder. All right, let's go over here and talk about something else. Hey, girly goats. Hey, girlies. You big loves. Y'all want to go inside. Hey, ladies. So I have all my La Mancha girlies in here, plus Fred. He's a weather. With Dr. Ennis. And look at this unrequited love story. This is the saddest thing I've ever seen. Mags, come here, Mags. Come here. Come here, girly. There you go. Here you go. Get down in there. Well, this is about to no longer be PG rated, so. Maggie's half La Mancha and half Nubian. So we've actually bred her both ways. We can breed her to a Nubian or La Mancha. This light. And I didn't put her in here when I put all the La Manchas in here because I just wasn't really sure at that time what I wanted to do. But I think I'm okay with going ahead and putting her against Dr. Ennis and seeing what we get. He's not a huge buck and she's not a big doe. I didn't put her in with Thorn Oakenshield because I didn't want her to be bred by such a large buck because I didn't want her to have kids that were too big for her to handle. Hey Gabriel, hey handsome. Oh, you're so sweet. I just got distracted by their little longing tryst at the fence. The other day, this is what I have to tell you. The other day, sweet Maya, we were walking the farm in the evening. We do that sometimes, make a cup of tea and go for a little farm walk. And he actually told me he wanted me to buy more Nubians. Like Maya told me to buy more goats. And I didn't make him say it twice. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, totally, I can do that. And I started looking and I actually found a local family that was looking to rehome their whole little herd of Nubians. Now, a couple of them had already sold by the time that I found the listing, but I messaged her, chatted with her. Turns out she actually has seen our channel before. So we should be going this weekend to pick up a few new Nubian does. I'm really excited to introduce them to you. And we actually worked out getting another Nubian buck as well. We've started Thorn Oakenshield on some minerals and stuff just to rule out malnutrition, to see if that's why, because basically we talked to a vet that said if a male goat is not interested in breeding, many times it's actually a mineral deficiency. And so we're doing minerals, and we gave him selenium and all of that. And right now we're just going to focus on seeing if that's something that he can be interested in again, and if not, that's okay. We're gonna keep him and just have him in with our boys as a companion. We do need to go ahead and get another buck on the farm like now, because we want to breed all our does within the next like 8 weeks at the most, to have kids at the beginning of the spring, because you want to have your goat kids before the real wet season sets in with the heat. Where we live, it's obviously it's hot, it rains a lot in the spring, and therefore parasites can go kind of crazy. And if you can get the baby goats born sooner, then they can be stronger and just have an easier time standing up to that parasite pressure by like, you know, May and June. So it's going to be a really goaty spring here at Roots and Refuge Farm, and I am not sad about it. I'm super excited. I would really love it if I could find a doe and milk right now and just get back into milking right now, since the garden is waning, but I don't know that I'm gonna be able to. Most people don't have does and milk right now, and usually when people have a good doe and milk, especially during kind of the off season, they're usually not getting rid of them. So I don't know that I'll be able to find that. Poor Dr. Ennis. The reason we went ahead and put the does in with him a little early was because he is a young guy, and a lot of times with the young bucks, the ladies are a little impatient. Maggie is kind of not having it. Like, she liked him from the other side of the fence, but in person she's just like, boy, you don't know what you're doing. So we'll see how this pans out. Oh, the stuff that I find myself privy to on a farm, I'm just like, my life is weird that I'm just sitting here watching this to make sure everything goes okay. And I always just have like a running commentary. That's the writer in me. I'm just writing the dialogue. Well, on that note, I think I'm gonna say goodbye to you guys for now. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I bless you. Until next time.